The groom is a very modern Irish male who is quite a fussy character because for his living he's a theatre set designer, so he's almost set designing his own wedding. So he is at a point in his life where he's feeling quite uptight about very specific things, so it's bringing that side of his character out. His wife-to-be has a problem with this. She's slightly turned off by it, but he's a good-hearted guy, and he's very good for her. And he's quite an honest chap. The best man is quite a sarcastic, intellectual guy who's an art history lecturer, and he is very competitive with the groom, and he also in a way slightly sees himself above the groom in their relationship, but he is a guy whose ego has not allowed him come to terms with the loss of his first love. So he's slightly in love with his sense of regret about that. Rather than say, hey, I've got to move on here, he won't allow the blow to his ego and basically says, well, what I'll do is I'll fall in love with my emotions of that time, that I'm someone who takes deep hurt and carries it, whereas he has to realize in life that he has to let these things go to move forward. To the brother of the groom and his partner are two gay Irish men who are a couple, and the brother is a very loyal character, and his partner, who is around 10, 15 years older, is probably the most mature of the group, and he doesn't take things too seriously, and is the one who's probably least threatened or offended by my character when he arrives. But their situation is that they're being excluded from the wedding that's coming up by the father of the groom, and they're in a bind because they're being asked to accept this situation because of the feelings of the mother. Because if the father says he's not going to the wedding because the couple are there, then what are you going to do with the mother? So they are men who have, because of the nature of the modern world, and of course it's changing, they've had to accept a status quo in terms of their position in society. So while they're very happy, very contented guys in their relationship, there's a deep frustration about where they sit in the world, and naturally enough. And the other friend is a guy called Simon, who's quite a repressed guy, he runs an information technology company, and he's married to a woman who's very dominant over him. And he is someone who certainly does not have the ability to make himself free emotionally and spiritually. And I think that's something that it goes across all the characters, except for the character that I play, because they're, we used to say that they were the five egos, because they constantly monitor how they might come across, or if they said the wrong thing, or how they appear to the other guys, and they second guess themselves all the time. He's the exact opposite of them. He's pure id, the ego and the id. He has no self-consciousness about how people perceive him. In fact, in many ways, he's oblivious. He's kind of too much to the other side. And so that brings a lot of problems with somebody like that, because they can be quite dramatic to be around, but they also bring a lot of freedom to the interactions between all the other men and how far they're pushed. And in the course of this story, his presence and his mentality forces these other guys to address issues that perhaps they've swept under the carpet, or are not willing to talk to each other about. So he looks like the bad guy at the beginning, but he's really a facilitator for them.